I'm going to have to get a new t-shirt, I think. Hello, welcome back, and as always, I hope you're doing well. Right, now I don't know if you remember, guys, I put out a short last year. One of my subscribers, Tony Scatman Scar, he sent me this little beauty in the post. He had two of them, and it is the CD to the Madness album, The Libby and Autumn Fallgate, which has got the CD and the DVD, like the concert kind of movie that Julian Temple from the Great Rock and Roll Swindle, Sex Pistols, and Filth and the Fury, he filmed. And very, very generous of him, man. This is fantastic. It really is. And quite hard to get hold of now. And he had two of them, so he kindly sent me this through the post. Well, he sent me this. Obviously, I've scribbled out my address out there, but he sent me this through the post. So, should we have a look and see what it is? Trusty. Right, we're in. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, looks like a single stripey. Well, it's not. But that does look like packaging for a single. Little note, I'll have a little read of that later. Got to me fine, mate. Thank you very much. And look at that. Can you see that? I'll take a closer photo of it so you can see it properly. It's a photograph of the Madness's latest album, The Theatre of the Absurd presents C'est la vie. We all know what c'est la vie is in French. It's that's life, something like that. So we've got all their autographs on there, apart from Woody on the back. So nice one for that Woody. I wanted to frame it, but yours going to be hidden. So I'll probably just keep that with the album. But yeah, a nice little touch. He had two of them, so he sent me it through the post. Nice one, fella. Totally appreciate that. Proper sent it well as well. Look at that. I should have been more all over this album when it came out last year. I mean, Madness done a market stall in Camden. Should have gone down and met them. They done the opening of HMV. There's a new HMV in Uptown, which I haven't been to yet. HMV. I worked in the record shop in the 90s, early 90s. Thanks, Tone. You're a superstar. Now, I have been playing this album. The 13th studio album by Madness, and luckily I have each and every one of them, from One Step Beyond, Absolutely 7, Rise and Fall, going right the way through to Can't Touch Us Now, which was released in 2016, so 7 years since their last record. And I've got to admit, it's pretty bloody good. I've been playing it a lot lately. I'm not as familiar with it as I am other Madness albums, because obviously we've had years and years of playing it, but at the moment that is the music I'm playing in the car when I'm doing work with my earbuds in, and I've played the record a couple of times. Here it is. As you know, I've done an unboxing that went wrong, so I showed you that I've got this. It's a double album. Not sure about this. I mean, it's a good cover. It's interesting. You know, it's got the book George Orwell's 1984, loo rolls and shopping trolleys. Do you remember when everyone went mental during lockdown over loo rolls? I think everyone went a little bit mad. And drones, like it's a drone round Barson, and Lee Thompson's got a Sex Pistol top on that says No Future. But they have done these covers a little bit. I mean, Can't Touch Us Now was also a Photoshop type cover. Our House, The Greatest Hits Full House, and I think the two albums they released I do like to be beside the A side, which was a load of B sides. I don't have any of them two on vinyl, unfortunately. One of them goes for a silly money now. But I know all the B sides, because obviously as kids when you're growing up, you do play both sides of the record, you know. But I've been playing it quite a bit, and I've got to say, guys, this is a solid album. It's a definite grower. The more you play it, now I'm starting to sing along with some of the lyrics. I don't know them all yet. There is lyrics in here. And I tell you what was a nice touch as well. I like stuff like this. There you go, there's all the credits, all the liner notes or whatever you want to call it. And it says down the bottom now, Madness would like to dedicate this album to Terry Hall. Terry Hall from the Specials, who died 2022 now. Such a shame. Voice of my generation, he certainly was one of them. Obviously the lead singer of the Specials and the Colour Field and other things that Terry done, but for me, and the Fun Boy 3, but it was the Specials. Let's be honest, it was the Specials. So yeah, I've played the record a few times. Now, record 1, I mean these are solid chunks of vinyl. Record 1 had a bit of a walk to it. I must admit, it was a little bit, the needle was doing a little bit of a wobble as I was playing it. So, but it didn't affect the sound. I mean, it wasn't massive. I've had records in the past that literally was like a bloody roller coaster ride. But the record sounds amazing. Now, Madness produced this album themselves, which is fantastic, because normally they use, I can't remember the other guy, Clive Winstanley, I think. I can't, off the top of my head, can't really remember. Now, this album was released last year, November 17th, 2023. And we're heading towards the end of January, so I'm a little bit late to the party on this one. But as you know, every now and again, I've got to do a vinyl play or a vinyl review or music in general. And I have got a Madness playlist where I've reviewed some of their albums. Now, I'm not going to do an in-depth review on this album because, like I said, I'm not as familiar like I am with other albums. But I just wanted to sort of give you my thoughts on it all, you know. It was their first #1, which is out of this world when you think about it. I mean, Madness have always had singles in the charts. Not recently, of course, but, you know, they did have C'est La Vie come out, I think it was, which is a great song from there. And now Baby Burglar, which is a brilliant song. And honestly, it's a fantastic song. And I think it's a song done by Lee Thompson, who used to be a bit of a scallywag when he was younger, and someone tried to burgle his home or something like that. And he's sort of saying, I'd done that. I'd done them things when I was young. So, let's just go through some of the songs that I can remember, right? Obviously, he's got prologue. So, Martin Freeman, you know, Tim from The Office. The Office is one of my all-time favourite TV shows. Seen it a few times. Brilliant. So, then you've got The Theatre of the Absurd, which is classic Madness. And I think this whole album has got a bit of a... It's definitely a concept album. There's a sort of a running theme throughout. And I think Madness do it so well. They did it originally with The Rise and Fall. Obviously, Norton Fallgate is a concept album. And this is. And to me, is it as good as Norton Fallgate? No, but it's close, and I think it makes a beautiful companion. It's just like updated. Fallgate had a bit of an oldie feel to it. Old London and all that. This is a sign of the times. Another good song by Madness, by the way. It's very much about what's going on in the world. We all know something's amiss. There's all these problems going in the world. You know, wars in the Middle East, wars in Ukraine, the virus, the vaccine, and all of these things that are going on in the world. And everyone's got this, something ain't quite right about all the lockdowns. I mean, I'd never heard of lockdown apart from when I used to watch prison stuff. You know, everyone's on lockdown because it all kicked off with inmates or whatever. They've done it to us all. When you look back now to 2020 and you think, how did anyone take any notice? And making us wear masks. Mental. But anyway, so yeah, you got The Theatre of the Absurd, which is absolutely Madness. If I Go Mad, a proper upbeat, brilliant track. Baby Burglar, which I spoke to you about. I'm glad they've done it over 2 albums as well, because you haven't got a lot of songs on one side. Now, people have said it's quite a long album. I don't find that a problem, because the album is so enjoyable, it goes that quick. Then obviously you flip over to side 2. You've got Act 1, Surrounding on All Sides by Martin Freeman again. He does a nice little job introducing the bits that he does. Then you've got C'est la Vie, like I said, Such Is Life or That's Life. A classic Madness song, and it's definitely got that Madness feel about it. What is it? What on earth is it you take me for? Another great song, An Hour of Need. These are all classic, and obviously side 2 finishes with Round We Go. Side 3, The Situation Deteriorates. This is Martin Freeman's introduction. Lockdown and Frack Off. Take from that as you will. But great track. Beginners 101. What a lovely writing. Lovely writing. I should have actually made a bit more notes to this really before I'd done this. But I wanted to sort of like have a little look at what Tony sent me and give you an overall view of the record. I'm going to highly recommend you go and get this. If you like a little bit of madness, and if you like Norton Folgate, trust me on this one. Have a little listen to it on Spotify first, but don't just play it once and go, nah. Because the first time I heard it, I didn't do nah, but I kind of thought, oh, it's alright. Nothing out of this world, but it's alright. Now I am tapping me toes and singing along to the bits that I know. Is there anybody out there? Yeah, I know. Pink Floyd song that, by the way. The Law According to Mr. Kappa. Quite a good song as well. Then we've got the final side, the epilogue, which is And So Ladies and Gentlemen. Then you've got Run For Your Life. A Beatles song. Great song. Set Me Free, Let Me Free. Brilliant. And In My Street, where Suggsy's singing about the deterioration of his street and his neighbourhood. You know, Irish pubs and black bin bags floating around. Not the clean London that we used to know. The deterioration, if you like. It's like, and I saw this on Wikipedia, it's like the yin and yang to our house in the middle of our street. And they're probably right, but the writing on this song is superb. And then you got the finish. So it is quite a long album. I think it's about 50 odd minutes long, but for me it whips through. As soon as I put that Mr. Beckett Sir on, you know, the opening track, and the Theatre of the Absurd, it's upbeat, catchy. Now they all done the songs, they all wrote the songs during lockdown, and I think they wrote a whole bunch more and they whittled it down to the best. It's fantastic. I can't big it up enough. And it's definitely one of them, the more you play it, the more you dig it. And I'm going to be playing this a lot. The wife's not heard it fully yet, because obviously we're going to see Madness in Berkshire in May next year. I want her familiar to this album, because when we went to see them in 2009, they just released Norton Folgate, and I got like it was a bootleg copy, but it was early, really early, and I was playing it in the car, I was playing it in the house, wherever we went. So all the songs from Folgate she knew. So yeah, when we went to see them, they played the classics, Night Boat to Cairo and Baggy Trousers and all that. But they also played a lot of songs, NW5, The Liberty and Norton Folgate, you know, all of Dust Devil. And she knew them all. So I'm going to have to do that with this. So yeah, my thoughts on Madness's C'est la Vie, or The Theatre of the Absurd, presents Madness, C'est la Vie. It's a great record, guys. It is a great record, and I'm so glad to have it. Like I said, I've got every single Madness official album. I haven't got all their greatest hits by a long shot, because there's a lot of them, but I've got a few, you know, Complete Madness and Utter Madness. I think there's another one I need to get, the rest of that, and Full House, which has got them photoshopped covers, which I am nitpicking. I suppose it's the sign of the times, but I quite like the One Step Beyond covers, the Madness 7, you know, I like them, but it's cool. And this is a treat. Tone, I really appreciate that, mate. I'm loving the album. I really am loving the album. I can't big it up enough. And thank you very much for sending me that. I was going to put it in the frame with my other Madness autographs, but I think I'll keep it with the record because Woody signed it on the back. I get it. There's not much room on the front. But yeah. So they're my thoughts, guys. Have you listened to the album yet? What's your thoughts on the Theatre of the Absurd or VIE or whatever? Madness's new album. I'm glad they got to #1 with it. I really am. But yeah, I'm personally loving it. And it comes highly, highly recommended. Like I said before, if you're a fan of Norton Falgate, I honestly think, stick with this, you're going to love it. Treat yourselves. So yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts on Madness's new album. Highly recommended. The writing is really good. And they're all quite good songwriters. They're not just by Suggs or Barzo or, you know, Lee Thompson. They all are writing the songs. Foreman, this Chrissy boy, is brilliant. You know, some of these songs are bloody brilliant. And it's nice to sit there with the words and read what they're going on about and try and absorb it all. Like I said, off the top of my head, without playing them, I'm not that familiar with all of the songs and their meanings. So at a later date, I may do a vinyl play. Later date, like a proper vinyl play and break down track by track. But for now, I just wanted to put this little video out for Friday and do a sort of like record one for Friday. I will be doing Bruce Lee content, of course. Don't think I'm giving up on that. But I want to try and break it down, so I'm sort of spreading it out. I'm working on my top British 50 films at the moment. That's going to be a bit of a longer video. That's taking up a little bit of my time. But yeah, he's rambling again. So thanks again, Tone. You're an absolute star, mate, and a proper Madness fan. He actually been up there and met some of the boys, and he sent me a photo of him and Martin Freeman. You know Martin Freeman, like I said, from The Office, Tim. Yeah, absolute legend. Right, before I go on too much, thank you all my patrons. I have been posting stuff on Patreon. Not a lot, because it's really hard to do all this together. If you could only see this room with all the lights and everything to set it all up, even that epoxy lava lamp over the back there takes about an hour and a half to warm up before it bubbles. Drives you nuts. But anyway, stop moaning, Stripey, it's the weekend. Right, have yourselves a fantastic weekend, guys. Much love. Cheers again, Tone, you're a legend. And I'll be back with another ramble real soon. Take care, guys.